been another week. It's been a heck of a week, actually. I have plenty to tell you. I don't know whether you've been up to anything. I don't know if you're even talking to me. I should. The disclaimer for everybody here. James is mad at me because I called him a naughty name, and I'm not 100% certain he's going to speak in this podcast. So
I've already forgot what you called me.
Oh, okay, that's fine then. How have you been, James? I'm not telling you. How have you been?
No, tell me.
No.
I'm going to assume it was racist.
Wow. Okay. There's no need for.
We all know what you're like in quiet.
Oh, come
the
on.
Things you say.
That's horrible. I'm trying to ask you how you are, and you're accusing me of being a racist. You're a racist.
Am I?
Yeah, always talking bad about people from the north.
You're not a race, you're like a subspecies.
That's just racist.
No, neither me or Pete are racist. We hate everybody equally.
Yes, there you go. How have you been for a week, James? How have you been?
I've been good. I had a day off work.
You did take a day off work, that's right.
It was scary. I forgot to turn my alarm off.
Oh, yeah, that's always a nightmare.
I have 3 of them. I forgot to turn all of
3?
them off.
You get up with 3 alarms?
Yes.
I need 9.
Yeah, but I get up like 4 hours after you.
Okay, fair enough, yeah.
But they're every 15 minutes. And I tend to snooze between them as well, so it ends up being like 6.
Why don't you tell the dear listeners why you took a day off work?
To watch the Super Bowl.
To watch the Super Bowl. He took a day off work so that he could watch American entertainment.
Yes, it was entertaining.
And did your team do a good?
No, they weren't in it.
So why did you watch it?
Because we watch it every year. It's like a tradition at this point.
Who's your team?
Patriots.
I don't.
And I liked them before they were big and famous. The only reason I support the Patriots had a really good run. And so, like everyone's saying, the glory supporters. The reason I like the Patriots is because when my mum went to America, she went to Boston and she got me a Patriots jersey. My hockey team is the Bruins because she got me a Bruins jersey as well. Right, my baseball team is the Red Sox because she got me a Red Sox ball.
None of this means anything to me, right?
They're all the teams for Boston.
Right, okay, but the Super Bowl is American football, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So I knew
there
that.
There are 2 leagues in America. There are 2 leagues in America: the NFC and the AFC. The Super Bowl is the winners from each league.
Right.
Well, the playoffs from each league, but yeah.
Okay.
So it's like, yeah, it's the 2 best teams of the year in theory playing against each other.
So if you said to me, if we just switched to English football, and you said you were a fan of, say, I don't know, Everton or Arsenal, these are places in England. Patriots isn't a place.
The New England Patriots.
The New England Patriots, okay.
So it's in Boston, which is in New England.
Right.
Although this isn't always true with American football because teams move.
See, what? No.
I've already forgotten where they used to be.
How is that possible? Surely it should be a different team if they're from somewhere else.
That's for people who aren't American. That's how we look at it. But for other teams, that's not how it works. And yeah, they'll move the name. They'll do what's called moving a franchise.
And they'll keep the nickname, but they'll change where they're from.
Yeah. So the team that won the Super Bowl are the Los Angeles Rams. Now, the Rams started at Cleveland.
Cleveland, Ohio.
Yes. Then they became the Los Angeles Rams till 94. Then from 95 to 2015 they became the St. Louis Rams, and then they went back to Los Angeles.
This is far too confusing.
It's weird. It's because the owner will own the name, they'll own the Rams name, and they've decided, look, if like the owner's like, I've had enough of LA and I want to move to St. Louis, obviously, so they moved there. Or say St. Louis want a team and they haven't got one, rather than starting their own team, they'll just buy somebody else's and bring the name over, but they keep the position as well. It's really weird.
That doesn't make none of this makes sense, and it all seems to be geared towards who can make the most money out of it. Quite frankly,
yes, it is pretty much. I don't understand it. For those of you who aren't English or don't follow sports so much in England, for argument's sake, my team are Plymouth Argyle. If a new city wants to form a team, the team starts at the bottom and works its way all the way up the leagues. If then Plymouth Argyle, the owner, wanted to move to Manchester, you can't take the team with you. You can go start a new team up there, and Plymouth Argyle stays down here. That's
That's how it works. Yeah.
You don't move teams, but America do. I don't know if it happens in other sports as well, but I know in football it does happen.
See, now I can't understand just the fundamental.
There's talk of one of the teams coming to the UK.
No, go away. I don't want any of you confusing shit. I can't keep up with sports at the best of times, okay? I can't keep up. Go on.
But what they wouldn't do, they wouldn't make a new team. They wouldn't make the the English or the London Lionhearts or whatever, for want of a name. They'll bring, say, the New York Giants will then become the London Giants. It wouldn't be them because they're a good team. But one of the teams that are struggling, they'll just steal the name.
Right.
They'll just close that team and open the new one over here. And I don't get how that works.
No, see, I don't understand how this works. But my exposure to American sports is very, very limited. But I also don't understand how the rules in their sports work either. So if I ever
you don't know how the rules in normal sports in English sports works.
I do in some, and I got a vague grasp enough to.
Snooker is not a sport.
Snooker is an excellent sport, but I've got enough of a grasp of the sports, except cricket, with the exception of cricket, because that can go fuck itself. I've got enough of a grasp of most sports to watch it and enjoy it whilst I'm watching it. Now, when it comes to American sports, I can't even watch and gather from what the commentary is saying, because all I can hear is like, he's got a 29 in his back pocket and not afraid to take the 36-yarder up his Jap's eye, and I just don't get it. It's just a load of numbers and random words assigned.
I like your American accent. But then watching something like basketball, you'd be able to watch.
Probably not. Well, actually, yeah, I could probably understand basketball.
There's two hoops, put the ball in the hoop.
Yeah, okay, that one's simply not.
American football is a simple sport once you get the idea behind it. The core rule of the game is...
to get a 26er up to 32, and at the fourth line, at the fifth, do a 36 triple backflip into the hole. I don't...
Yeah. See, this is why if you watch it in the UK, it's quite good, because Sky do 2 levels of commentary. They do commentary for some people who like the...
For people who know the sport, and they're for idiots like me.
Exactly. But then you say that like it's perfect, but then, as we know, in Dota, which is an e-sport game we play, which has become an e-sport, they have the Dota... They call it... It's not called the Noob Channel, but it's known as the Noob Channel.
And
they simplify it down.
Extra explanations and things.
Yeah, they don't go for the nicknames and the quick calls. They don't care about who's cast what spell. Something big happens, they go, right, the blue guy did... That's what they do, which is a really good idea. More sports should do it. I said, they do it in American football, especially the Sky coverage does. I think you have to push the red button to get the simple coverage, but it exists. And whereas...
Simple coverage, I love that as a term.
Yeah, I think that's what they call it, to be honest. It's a simplified coverage. Whereas when we were watching it, between plays and in the breaks and all that lot, they were told they'd dissect it and say about how the 39 and the backflip in the hole and all that rubbish, as you were doing a minute ago. But on the simple coverage, they'll stop and they'll just break it down completely, and they'll explain exactly what happened and why, and what they were trying to do, and why it didn't work or why it did work. But the core rule in American football is there's an end zone at each end. The idea is you've got to get the ball into the end, whether you catch it in the end or run it into the end, you got to get the ball down there.
You have to be in possession of the ball whilst you're in the end zone.
Yeah. Now you get what's called a down. You get 4 attempts to move forward 10 yards. If you move in your first attempt, if you move forward 6 yards, you start from where you got to, so you've only got to do 4 more yards. And once you get over those 10, you start again from the count. If you get to all 4 attempts and you don't make it, the other team get the ball.
Right.
So that's what you hear about downs. You get first, second, third, fourth down. Quite normally, on the 4th down, they'll kick the ball down the field, so the other team get the ball, but it's at the other end of the pitch, rather than giving them an easier advantage.
Okay.
That's the cool rule of it. You get 4 attempts to move forward 10 yards. If you get 10 yards, your attempts reset. If you get all the way to the end and put the ball in the end zone, you get 5 points. And then if you kick it over the posts, you get an extra point. If you run it into the end zone again, you get 2 extra points. That's it. Simplest rules. There are lots of complicated rules to explaining how you do that, but you don't need to know that to watch the sport.
Okay. So, I think with that explanation, I could watch a game.
Out of all of them, it's probably, out of all the sports I watch, bar maybe motorsport, it's probably the easiest to follow.
Motorsport's nice and simple. Cargo
brum. Cargo brum, you can hit each other unless it's single-seater, basically, is the rule. If there's only one person, if there's only one seat in the car, you can't hit each other. If there's more than one person, rubbing's racing, it's fine.
Oh. I didn't know that
was
a
common
thing.
phrase, rubbing's racing. You watch like touring car and stuff, which is when you've got like your BMWs and your VWs and your Golfs and all that lot, and it tends to be short races. They'll do like 10 laps. They are constantly just pushing each other out the way.
Very nice.
But
Dangerous.
The thing is, those cars, if they touch each other, they don't instantly disintegrate. A Formula One car is so delicate that if another car looks at it funny, like bits fall off.
Nice. Right, well, you were explaining something about some controversy around the most recent Formula One event, and you also explained something about how they're designed so that if someone's driving behind them, it messes up the air, so that it's hard on the car or the driver.
Hopefully removed that this year, or made it better. That's a simple fact of life.
What
with cars?
Right, okay.
With cars. Sorry, I was drinking.
That's okay. Yes, James is going to be very drunk by the end of this, by the way.
It's fine. Juniper berries. I love that word. Whereas, obviously, the problem with Formula 1 cars, if you've got one right behind the other, they get hot, for one, because they're not getting as much air hit them, because the car in front's push the air out of the way. If that makes sense?
Yes, that makes sense.
I expected to reply and you didn't say anything.
Sorry, I thought you were...
So that's one of the problems. That's one of the problems. But then the other one is, as you know, looking at the cars, they use air to make themselves grip. That's why they've got the big wing on the front and the big wing on the back.
Yes.
And all the funny little shapes all the way down. It's designed to make the air to squeeze them down.
Like an aeroplane in reverse.
Exactly. If that car in front's pushed the air out of the way, the car behind hasn't got that benefit. So then he can't go as quick around the corners because he hasn't got that air pushing him down, or as much air pushing him down. They're literally making a hole, a vacuum, slightly behind the cars. Now, last year, it was like 40 metres it was noticeable for the cars. This year, it's down to hopefully like 10. We don't know yet. The cars haven't started racing yet.
Well,
hopefully, it's going to be more competitive. 28th of March is the first race. Not that I'm counting down the days at all.
No, not at all. Hey, that's pretty close, though.
We've started watching Formula E because we've run out of motorsport, and it's like a fix.
What's Formula E?
Formula E is weird. Formula Electric.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, well, they sound like TIE fighters.
I don't know what they sound like.
Star Wars?
I don't really do Star Wars. I have seen Star Wars, but I was very young and I don't care for it.
They sound like spaceships.
Okay.
They go really proper whining noise because it's the electric motors whining.
I'm so pleased you did an impression.
I knew that's what you were going for.
That wasn't what.
And they don't.
It was a happy accident.
The other thing, the cool thing about Formula E is they're all in the same car, not in the exact same one.
That's going to make the car very heavy. And also,
they've all basically
the winner's clearly the person sat at the front. So
there's 20 cars, I think, in Formula E at the minute. All 20 of them lead to the same factory. It's not like when Formula 1 where they each make their own car, or each team make two cars out of the same.
So is it more about the driving than the car design?
It's more about the driving and the strategy. Because obviously in Formula 1 they have to pit stop for tyre changes and stuff. They don't do that in Formula E. Mainly because the race can only be 45 minutes long, plus a lap, because they run out of electricity.
Yes.
So a big part of Formula E is what they call energy management. It's
so that
you could go full throttle the whole time. Well, not only that, but you could go full throttle the whole time, but you won't finish.
Ah, right.
And again, with this problem of following the car in front, it's reversed in Formula E because they can follow the car in front closer because of the design of the car, but they're using less energy to follow the car in front because the drag's reduced because it's making a hole in the air.
Right.
So quite often the guy that leads for 40 minutes ends up not winning because he's had to use more energy getting around the track, and the car behind can go, hey look, I've got a spare.
Yeah.
They don't do tyre changing in it because it's such a short race. They don't need to tyre change in them. They run on all-weather tyres, so they can, if it starts raining, they can stay on the tyres.
That's so cool how it changes the dynamic so much.
But one of the weird things they have to do, because they don't have pit stopping, is a huge factor of Formula 1. It's a strategy thing. If you pit stop before that guy, are you going to get more of a benefit than he is? Blah, 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 blah. When are the tyres going to be in the best zone? Are you going to be in free space, or is there going to be a car in front? If you've got a bit of gap, and you can pit stop and you can use that gap to your advantage and use the tyres the best at the start, obviously, when they've just come on the car. You can use all the best part of the tyres at the best time on the track. Great. Formula E doesn't have that because you don't have tyre changes. The race is too short, really, to put a pit stop in. So they do what they call attack mode, where one of them has to, if you say on the corner, obviously they always tuck on the inside because it's the fastest way around. Every now and again, twice in a race, they have to go around the outside of the corner and they get a little speed boost by doing it.
Oh.
It's like Mario Kart.
I was going to say attack mode. Is that where they crash into the box with a question mark on it and then they choose a weapon?
But yeah, on the graphics you see it, there's two lines they've got to go over basically. If they go over both those lines, they gain like an extra 40 kilowatts of power or whatever it is for 3 minutes. but they don't gain any more energy. So if they use all 40 kilowatts of it, they could run out of energy by the end of the race. But again, so they time that right. So if they pick that up, they've got to go through it twice. But in theory, when they're picking it up,
the coloured little markers on the floor that go woo.
Yeah, pretty much. You don't actually get a sun boost of speed. You just get more power available to the engine, obviously. But when they're going through those modes, if the car behind's close enough, he might overtake on that corner, and then they've got to use that power to get past them. So it's not worth getting it. But they have to get it twice, or else they get disqualified. So it does make it interesting. But it's not Formula One.
No. It's definitely not. When the way you're describing that is a very different kettle of fish.
It's kind of a thing. It's for anyone in the UK. It's on Channel 4, so it's free to watch. It's pretty much every weekend. They're always in street circuits as well, so it's short, fast, twisty circuits. They're a lot more aggressive as well. They will rub the cars together and stuff. They're a bit stronger than an F1 car. It's worth a watch if you've got nothing to do on a Sunday when it's on. Because, well, there's nothing to do on Sunday. You might as well stick it on. You might enjoy it.
And you might understand what's going on because you're not trying to decipher what 29ers and 36ers and 50-yard lines are.
Vernon Kay does the coverage, if that helps.
I don't think that would help anybody.
Some people like Vernon. I quite like Vernon Kay.
I can't remember who Vernon Kay is, if I'm honest. I know the name, I just can't. Oh, hang on. Did he do Family Fortunes for a bit?
Yes.
There
That's
you
Vernon
go.
Kay.
I remember him.
It's no Bradley Walsh.
No, Bradley. Bradley Walsh used to feature quite a lot in our podcast. I don't know if anybody noticed.
No, he didn't normally because we had J-Fix in the audio. But for those
right, yeah.
wondering what the hell we're talking about, where he used to call when I was in my front room, my nan would normally be watching the chase while we were doing the recording, which is very awkward to do a recording. So, yeah, Bradley Walsh used to feature.
Whether he liked it or not.
Yeah.
But Bradley, if you're listening, you can come on happily, and make an official appearance.
I'd say we probably owe him some money for appearing, but we've never made any money, so we can't sue.
That's true, yeah. That's a very good point. I'll send him a Kit Kat, it'll be alright.
Why a Kit Kat?
Do
you have a Kit Kat on your
I have
desk?
Kit Kat wrappers on my desk. The Kit Kat's not going to stay on my desk. I'm not going to have an uneaten Kit Kat on my desk, not like an uneaten carrot, which is actually Play-Doh.
Is it still on your desk?
It's still on my desk. It's slightly
I've
obscure.
still got dime bars.
You've still got that. You've got about 400 dime bars.
Well, it was a big XXL multi-pack.
Guess what I forgot to get while I was
IKEA.
shopping, James?
Dime bars. I said you.
Yeah. It's okay. I'll be all right.
Dime, if you're listening, we're looking for sponsors.
I'm sure they think, oh yes, them 41 subscribers on YouTube. Ooh, we'd love to advertise to those.
Yeah, but you don't need to send us lots of money. We'll mention you every week. Just send us some dime bars. That's all we ask for.
I mean, it's just, it'll cost way more than it would gain you. But yeah, sure.
Right, you'll be helping out the little guy.
Okay, because that's what they're interested in. Not making money, helping out the little guy. It's
We're not
noble.
little, we're both quite fat, so
Yeah, I don't think we need any extra chocolate at all, actually.
we always need extra chocolate.
You know what, actually? As I get older, I want chocolate less.
I'm the other way. When I was younger, I used to never wanted chocolate at all. Now I keep craving chocolate.
Weird, isn't it?
I've got some Cadbury fingers sat next to me that I keep looking at.
Oh, I do like chocolate fingers, actually.
If suddenly during the podcast you start hearing me munching on something, I've given in and opened the fingers.
It's probably going to get easier for you to give in as well with the amount of gin you're swallowing.
Gin is good for me. It tastes like rhubarb. And apple juice. It's because there's apple juice in it and it's rhubarb flavoured gin.
Very nice. Hey, speaking of...
Right.
Oh, sorry, go on.
I was going to say you had a topic. But
I did, yeah.
it sounded like
We
you
were
gonna
going
make
to
something
segue
important
into it perfectly then, talking about advertising.
But then we both spoke at the same time.
Which happens all the time. Who cares?
We're so close to being a good podcast and then just whiffing it.
You know what? This is why I suggested us being on a video call as well, because that way we can read our body language and not interrupt each other as much.
I'm currently not looking at my desk, so that's not going to work, is it?
But if the camera's looking at you, that's all I need.
You can see the back of my chair.
Why are you facing the other way?
I don't know.
Because you can, more than anything.
Because I have a spinny chair.
A spinny chair and an extendable microphone boom.
No, I might mount the microphone boom to the chair when we're doing the podcast so it follows me now.
Okay. Oh, that's a very good idea. That's probably why I can't hear you moving away so much.
Yeah, because it comes with me now.
Yeah, that's a brilliant idea.
The only thing I've got to be aware, I can only spin about twice in each direction before wires start getting in the way.
Not quite taking the plunge into wireless microphones yet.
No, I just spent fucking £8 million on this stupid thing.
£8 million.
It
Come
wasn't
on.
that much. I had to buy 3 of them. Okay, I only paid for 1 of them, but I had to get 3 of them.
Did have to get 3 of them. You had the worst luck with those, actually.
Yeah, which is annoying because the guy who you speak to would recommend, oh yeah, get this microphone. And I was like, yeah, but it broke. And I, what do you mean it broke? It's got a 10-year warranty on it. And I broke 2 of them.
Well, I think we've established that the problem is you.
I would be the best person for like consumer testing.
Or the worst.
If it can survive me, it's like space proof. You can stick it
Space-proof?
on Mars, it'd be alright.
I don't know.
Well, if I can't break it, Mars can't break it.
I think, like, you and then a selection of children aged 3 to 10.
I broke a fork at work today.
Fork.
Yes.
That's fairly normal.
Metal fork.
Yeah.
The prong came off.
That happens. Especially on
Does
cheap
it?
forks. Yeah.
I've never had a prong come off on a fork before. Not like the handle came off, one of the prongs at the end came off.
Yeah. That's
You
the
had that
that's the
before?
weakest part. The handle's not going to break, is it?
Quite often, especially if you get plastic handles, you end up having
Okay,
the
plastic
fork come out
handles,
the
fair
handle.
enough, yeah, but the metal handle of a fork is not going to break as easily as the prong.
You often break forks. I've never. The 2 guys at work had never seen a fork break like
I've
that
seen
before.
a fork break like that, yeah.
How much do you break your forks?
But I make sure I get every morsel of food at all times, James.
It tastes like food.
Yeah. In fact, sometimes I chew so hard that some food tastes like blood.
And fork.
Well, forks taste like blood, that's for sure. So does glass, interestingly enough.
Why are you eating glass?
I'm not, it was a joke.
You're a joke.
I am a joke, yes. And here's what's not a joke. Right, okay, so what I wanted to talk to you about is...
That would be where you put a sponsor in. Here's what's not a joke. Tunnel Bear.
Spider Crate.
Raid Shadow Legends.
Oh, for God's sake, not again. Oh, but
If they contact us, we're accepting it.
this is one of the things I want to talk to you about, James. Right, I'm watching a lot of YouTube. I'm a guy who sits on his desk painting miniatures. I watch a lot of YouTube.
He means you porn.
YouTube.
Porn.
And when I'm watching a battle report or a let's play, whatever, usually long form content. So like the videos range between 45 minutes, sometimes upwards of 3 hours, and I have my volume set nicely so that it's, I'm wearing my headphones still, but it's still mostly background noise. I'm not 100% paying attention to it whilst I'm doing what I'm doing, and it's nice.
Yeah.
Why are the adverts set to blast out at 3,000% volume?
See, you do it the easy way like I do and don't get the adverts.
No. That's the easy way by that is giving them money to stop the adverts. That's what they want.
Yes.
That's what they're doing by interrupting my experience. So by purposefully harming their own product as a provider of video entertainment and interrupting it with loud adverts, they are purposefully doing that and then selling me the solution of YouTube Premium to not have that. And that's not, no, you're not getting my money.
Yeah, but see, this is the best reason why YouTube can do whatever the hell they like with anything. Where else are you going to go?
Well, there are other video format places.
No, there's not.
There are. In fact, if I'm going to pay money, I would much prefer to pay directly to the creator. So I also think that channel memberships for YouTube. You join the channel, subscribe to them for X amount of money per month.
Yeah.
That should feature adless viewing. There should be no adverts viewing for the channel members, just like they do on Twitch. When you sub, you don't have to watch adverts anymore because you're already giving money.
Unless you're on my Twitch, which seems to keep lagging out and not realising I'm logged in.
Well, that's not anybody's problem but yours.
Yeah. No, I do. But then, I said, at the same time, the thing with you're saying there's other places there's videos and stuff. There's not to the scale of YouTube, is there?
No, not at the scale of YouTube yet. But if they keep going the way they're
got
going, then they'll topple themselves over.
It's going to be a big day. It's like, this is the argument with like World of Warcraft and stuff. Something serious has to happen.
Something serious has to happen, yeah. But they can't just like rampage forward and think it will never happen, which is what they are doing. The pride comes before the fall, James. It's like no one thinks it'll happen until it happens, and they've got no preparation for if and when it does.
Yes, they do. They don't care. They just Google make the money.
But YouTube is one of the biggest arms of Google.
Yeah, but it doesn't make money. We had this conversation. Compared to other parts of
I don't
Google,
believe
it
you,
doesn't make
James.
money.
I honestly, you didn't give me any sources or any evidence to suggest it doesn't make money. I do not believe you. With the amount of people that are paying for YouTube Premium and the amount of adverts that are shoved down your throat all the time, I'm not prepared to believe that they do not make money. So coupled that with channel memberships, all the
they may
super
make
chats and
money,
super thanks and things like that.
But compared to other parts of Google, it doesn't make anywhere near as much money as other parts of Google does.
I don't care. It probably still is worth billions per year.
Probably, but then it costs billions a year to run it.
Right, okay. I reckon they double the money on it there. They've spent 2 billion running it, make 4 billion.
I don't know. I tried to find numbers for you last week, and I couldn't seem to find them.
Yeah, okay.
The issue is they just post the ad, how much money the ads make.
Yes, and not what they make off individual creators through memberships and YouTube Premium
And all
subscriptions.
That lot. But they also don't put the costs.
Well, there we go. Well, if they didn't make money on it, then I don't think that they would put so much effort into. Well, they don't put any effort into it. That's the point I'm making.
They don't put any effort in. That's the point.
Yeah, but I don't think they would bother keeping it running if they didn't make money off it, or enough to justify it being there.
But then it also brings other things with it. A lot of YouTubers use other Google products to support themselves. And that's where they'll start making the money.
Like
Google Drive. Google Drive makes a shit ton of money.
Okay. But that would be off the back of YouTube, right?
Yeah. But YouTube's not making the money, but it's helping them get people in to make them money.
But it's without YouTube, there would be less requirement for Google Drive for storing mass video content, right?
Yeah, so they need YouTube, but that's not YouTube directly making the money, is it?
No, but without YouTube, then the Drive would make less money.
I didn't say YouTube wasn't important. I said that's not what makes money, though.
Right, okay. But if it's important, then I believe that what they should be doing is finding ways of monetizing it that don't harm the product that they're trying to deliver.
But I don't think it harms it enough to kill it.
Well,
let's face it, we still watch YouTube.
Yeah, but
you still watch
there's a huge amount of people who watch it with adblock. And the only reason I don't use a program like adblock is because I want to support the creators that I watch. And watching with a couple of adverts is a great passive way to do that. However, it's first of all the adverts are
fix the volume levels.
The what? Sorry.
Fix the volume levels.
Yeah, if they could play the advert at the same volume level that my video is playing, that would be fantastic. Because especially as it's 90% headphone use, it blasts down my ears and it's just so off-putting. Which means a couple of things: one, I'm mad at YouTube for doing it, and two, I'm not going to buy the product that they're advertising because I'm pissed off already. So as soon as the advert plays, I'm in a bad mood. So your advertisement is also lost on me because I will not touch your product.
The other one for majority of creators that I've heard talk about how they make money, because a lot of them don't want to talk about it, which is fair enough. YouTube isn't where the majority of their income comes from.
No, because ad revenue is bollocks. So it's not even benefiting the
sponsor
creators.
Revenues. So it's not benefiting the creators, which is why a lot of them these days are putting less and less videos on them. And lots of established YouTubers, shall we say, if you watch a video from some guy who's just uploaded car crash videos and he's just hit the 1,000, he will put as many ads as possible on the thing.
Yeah. Because
that's the only way they're making money. But you think to most YouTubers, things like Raid and those lot, the ones that you see them saying in the video, not... Obviously, when you're watching YouTube, I know you understand this, but some people may not. If you sometimes, when you're watching YouTube, it will stop, your video will stop for an advert, then you get your little yellow loading bar, which is the ads you can't skip sort of thing.
Yeah.
That is a YouTube advert. But when you're watching your favourite content creator and they go, half through the video, go, right, today's Raid sponsor is Raid Shadow Legends, and then they explain it all and they're using their name, and it's your...
See, I don't mind that.
It's the content... I'm trying to explain what it is to other people, though. It's the content creator saying it, they get the money directly, that is nothing to do with YouTube. That's the key difference between, you've got to remember, between the two adverts. A sponsored video is when they're mentioning Raid or whatever. Or actually, these days, a decent sponsored video does still make YouTube money, but that's a different way around it. Whereas the actual advert that appears halfway through, that all depends on a weird routine on how you make money on YouTube.
Especially since now YouTube have released this new crazy idea to put adverts on channels that aren't eligible for monetization. So what they're doing is disrupting viewers' experience on channels that can't make even that tiny scrape of money from YouTube doing that to them.
They're actually starting to do that.
Yeah, they put adverts on my videos. I'm nowhere near the point where I can make money off my videos. And
again, people curious who don't know, to make money off YouTube, you have to have 1,000 subs. That's when you unlock the monetization. There's a few other rules, but that is the main rule you need to unlock the
1,000 subs
monetization
and
button.
4,000 hours of watch time in the previous 12 months.
Yeah,
which is
if
a
you've
lot.
Got 1,000 subs, if you've got 1,000 subs, it's probably not that high. Unless you've only got one video.
Unless you've only got one video, yeah. But you see,
By that logic, each sub has to watch 4 hours of content.
okay, so
For argument's sake, on ours, if each person watches full podcast, that's it, done.
well, yeah. But
The
just
4,000 isn't that hard. The other thing you need is 2-factor, and there's 4 requirements, isn't there?
I think the other
two-factor
one's
enabled.
just like no copyright strikes or something like that,
Oh yeah, you
or
got
no violations of the terms of service.
Your
or
channel
something
has
like
to be in good conduct.
that. Yeah,
Which I think we are so far. We've not been told off yet. So
not been told off yet. We've not been
Boobies.
noticed yet, so that's hard.
boobies.
Stop it. I hardly think that's subjectional content, actually, given some of the stuff that we say. But,
Yeah, that's pretty clean for us.
yeah, it is. It is, isn't it? So my channel is somewhere around 80 subscribers, and I get something like 100 hours watch time a year, which is mostly my son. And, which, you know, it's fine. I mean, I make him because I like
Does he
doing
listen
it.
to the podcast?
Does he, heck?
Why not?
That boy is far too young to listen to some of the things that come out of your mouth.
This filth.
Yeah.
At what point is he allowed to listen to us?
When he's 18. But yeah, my channel is nowhere near.
I feature on your channel.
You do feature on my channel, but I keep losing my point because you keep fucking interrupting me. But they're putting adverts on my channel, which is detrimental to anybody. I mean, I have a couple of viewers who do keep coming back, you know, and it's nice of them to do so. But they've.
Obviously, I watch most of your videos except for the Morrowind and Elder Scrolls stuff because it.
I've never made a Morrowind
That's
video.
'cause
That's how much attention.
I
you
don't
pay.
know exactly. All those games just bore me, and you know that, and
Yeah.
you don't take it personally that I don't watch them.
No, I don't take it personally if anybody doesn't watch what I do. I don't count
Because
any
it's
of my
just
stuff
the
as good.
Content is the basis for it. But I watch all your Human Fall Flat stuff with Elliot. I watch all the videos of me in them because it's me.
Because it's you, because you're narcissistic. Yeah, we all understand. But yeah, it's
never
detrimental to the
Been
product,
so
James.
complimented.
Adverts being shoved, like it's bad enough on telly, really. When I mean, we're not so bad over here
On telly.
on telly. Yeah, it's bad enough on television. Particularly if you watch American programming, because you can see where the cuts have been deliberately made for
It's
adverts.
supposed to be, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, wow, it's been like a minute and 10 seconds, and they're already cutting for more adverts, and it's so obtrusive, it's so intense, and most of the time, I'm being advertised absolute bollocks. In fact, the adverts that you get while you're scrolling through YouTube, rather than the ones that are just injected into videos. So every 5 videos or something, the next thumbnail's an advert. Some of them.
Speaking on
oh, go on.
speaking on adverts, a 30-second advert, because obviously American football has a lot of adverts because of the breaks in play and all that lot.
Yes.
There's generally about 40 seconds between each play potentially, so they can stick an advert in there, and they do.
Yes.
A 30-second advert at the Super Bowl this year was between 5 and 5.6 million just for the television time. That's not including making the advert.
Yeah, I can believe it.
So you're $5 million for 30 seconds on the
but
TV.
the reason-
But it is one of the most watched television shows per year.
Yes,
every
but
year.
the
It's always
reason
up there.
that it costs so much, the reason it is such a big moneymaker for the network to charge that much for the advert space is because so many people are gathered around the televisions to watch the actual entertainment. Nobody gives a fuck about the advert.
No. Some of the Super Bowl adverts are great.
No, I disagree.
They just go to the point where it's just objectively offensive.
I don't care.
It'll be like, are you a lonely man watching the Super Bowl by yourself? Well, call this number to chat to women in your area. Okay, maybe not that bad, but they literally go to that level. They're just like,
who's spending 5.6 million to put that advert out there? How much money does that make that company?
Maybe not that one. I just made that one up. But it will be literally like, they'll do things like, are you a white American living by yourself? You need a Ford Raptor, or else you're not, or else you don't love this country. And they'll literally say stuff like that.
Wow. Okay, but how much money could that
You
possibly
must buy a
make
Ford
a
Raptor,
company?
else you don't love this country. It obviously works because each year the price goes up, and each year they fill the lot.
Right. Well, I'm talking about my problems with adverts, not anybody fucking else's.
All right, narcissistic.
Not narcissistic, just grumpy old selfish bugger.
You are grumpy.
I am very grumpy. I'm always more grumpy for the podcast as well because it's always so late.
Because you got to spend time with me.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the point I was about to make again before you fucking interrupted me again, was that the adverts that you interject into your feed are sometimes just outright objectionable content as well.
It depends. If your video is set for explicit view, then they can do. But if your video is set to...
No, this is when I'm scrolling through the thumbnails.
Oh, right. Yeah, but again, they know the age in your account and that sort of thing. So...
But they obviously don't pay attention to any of my watching habits. You know, this guy who watches a couple of Morrowind videos and he watches a lot of Warhammer 40,000 stuff. Here's some animated tits. That's not really in keeping with the theme, is it? So I mean,
yeah, but then at the same time, do you find a lot of people who like Warhammer 40k stuff quite often can also be into animated tits?
I don't know a lot of people, James, I'll be honest.
But those sort of, without trying to sound stereotypical, lot's not the right word. It's not uncommon to potentially talk to people who, because generally a lot of people that do 40k, not all people, but we've all been to Games Workshop
trying
before.
to avoid the
I'm
sweeping
generalisation. I'm trying not to, exactly. If I do offend, I don't mean it like that, but we've all been to Games Workshop and there's that weird sweaty guy in the corner that's always there, isn't there? Doesn't really shower enough. This is potentially the owner, yeah. But there's always that one guy who doesn't shower enough and just, he's got an anime pillow at home.
That makes me very uncomfortable.
It's got a little hole cut in it in the back.
You see, now what I do is because those adverts make me uncomfortable. First of all, because they have a tendency to depict...
Because the erection just pushes against your jeans?
No, because they have a tendency to depict, like, people in school uniforms in a sexualized nature, and it makes me very weird. Uncomfortable. It's so weird, and I hate it. And I don't watch a lot of anime, but from the bits that have, like, you know, that have been floating around on the internet, like GIFs and stuff, what people post and whatever, like, the art form is not for me. I don't care about the medium, but I do see a lot of sexualization of schoolgirls. Yeah, but you see, now, if somebody just walked up to you and said, I like looking at girls in school uniform, you'd say, you're a fucking nonce, mate. But then if they say to you, I like watching anime about school kids in uniform, people are just like, oh, that's fine then. That's socially acceptable. You know what? If you draw an underage girl and then enjoy looking at it, then you're not a nonce, mate. No, that's perfectly fine.
But then the one thing that ruins this argument for me is when you look at Britney Spears and Hit Me Baby One More Time, she is attractive in that. And the school uniform works. You don't know the video, I'll have to send you it later.
Why is school uniform a fetish anyway? That itself is a noncy behaviour.
I love that word.
But it is. It's not right.
Nonce is just such a good word.
Oh, because I can't even imagine, like, looking at Charlotte and saying, tell you what would be good, love, if you dressed up as someone who's in year 10. Like, no, that is so wrong. Why is this acceptable? This is not right.
Specified year 10.
But you know what I mean. Come on,
Year 11's too old for me.
Yeah, oh no. That's a clip that someone can edit, James. You don't want that floating around the
internet.
But come on, no, it's not right, is it? Because I take the effort.
No, I completely agree with you.
When these adverts come up, I take the effort to hit the 3 dots and say, stop seeing this ad, and click the inappropriate button. Now, it doesn't ask you for anything else after that. But it makes me uncomfortable. And especially because, like, if I'm sat at, like, a train station scrolling through YouTube, and someone just glances down at my phone and just thinks, oh, fucking nonce. You know, because honestly, if I saw that on someone else's phone, that's what I'd think.
I've got a similar story, not to do with noncing or anything like that, but I've got a story on that.
Thank God.
When my mate was proposing to his fiancée, she knew, basically, like, a couple of weeks beforehand, they'd been on holiday, and she basically found the ring that she absolutely fell in love with. But he couldn't get it while they're away because she was there and all that.
Yeah.
So when they came back, he'd taken a picture on his phone of her. I think he took a picture of the ring when she was turned around, so she didn't see that he was taking a photo. But then he came back to where he lives, and he's like, right, I'm going to go to the shop, and he got a couple of pictures. He's like, I'm going to basically show them the picture and say, I want this ring, or if they haven't got it, I'll go to the next shop. And he did. And now this is one thing you should never do. This is the most rudest thing I think you can do when someone hands you their phone, is flick across the pictures.
Yeah, that is pretty rude, actually.
Because the person in the shop flicked across the picture to what was the still image from the video that the two of them had made the day before when they were on holiday in their hotel.
Oh, dear me.
I've not seen the video. I don't want to see the video. But he words it as her father wouldn't have been proud.
Oh, no. That's horrible.
And you're just thinking, what must that person in the shop have thought?
You know what, actually? This is something I never really thought about, but there seems to be a lot of anxiety around people when, if you said to someone, can I borrow your phone for 2 seconds? They'll go, hang on a minute. And then I only just click now that they're hiding objectionable content before you go on the phone. It's like, I just want to make a phone call. Like, what do you think I'm going to find? Quick, clear your browser history because there's something terrible in there.
Well, women, if you ever ask your partner if you've got the laptop, oh yeah, it's 2 seconds. They're clearing the browser history,
which is the only thing that James clears regularly in his room.
No, I've got my own computer. No one else goes in it. I've got an incognito mode. It's great.
What that means?
It means it doesn't track your history and all that lot.
Oh, God,
private browsing, whatever you want to call it.
So that's literally used for one thing then.
Do you not remember when that came out? Microsoft first released it, or was one of the first ones to release it, and the advert was, "Oh, if you're buying that special something for her and all that lot," everyone was just like, "Porn."
No, I don't remember when that
only
came
reason
out,
for they didn't say that, but yeah, that's what the advert was. It was like thinking of buying that special present for your wife using private browsing so they can't see what you've been looking up. No. Not satisfied with your wife using private browsing.
Jesus.
But yeah, there's another YouTuber / podcaster that I listen to. It was their podcast gave me the idea to do this one actually, and he said he hates it when he hands someone their phone and they flick across it. So when he got his COVID pass, he got a picture of a dick. Saved that in the phone, then saved his COVID pass, then saved another picture of the dick either side of it. So if anyone flicked on it when you passed them the COVID pass picture, they were going to see dick.
Just to punish them for flicking.
Just to punish them for flicking on someone's phone, which you shouldn't do.
Why would anybody do that though? What, like, if someone hands you to?
People do. I don't get it. It's just rude, isn't it?
It is just rude. Oh, what else have you got for me? Ooh.
Well, we had this in uni as well. I've got lots of stories on this, weirdly. We were in uni, and one of the girls had just bought a new car. And she didn't have it yet, but she bought it on taking some pictures and brought it in. Yeah. And being an engineering course, a predominantly male engineering course as well, we were all into cars. So she's passing the phone around, we'll look at the picture, and one of the guys at the end goes, "You got any more pictures?" Flicks across, her spread eagle on a bed.
Oh. Why do people have these pictures of themselves on the phone?
I don't know. It's different if it's of a partner, I suppose, but why would you do it with yourself?
Dear me.
What are you saving that for?
Who are you sending it to? It was obviously taken to send to someone, and that's just dreadful behaviour. Honestly, nudity makes me so uncomfortable, James.
But, yeah,
I don't even shower naked to me. I wear a wetsuit.
Doesn't surprise me. But who's going, "Nice BMW, nice." Oh my god.
Nice BMW. Oh god. That poor girl must have been so embarrassed.
She wasn't. She would have probably just showed everyone if they wanted to see the picture anyway. She was a bit weird.
Yeah. No thanks.
Very weird, actually.
No thanks. No thanks. No thanks.
I've not told you the story about the party at her house, have I?
Oh my god, it gets worse.
There was no nudity involved.
Okay.
It is of a sexual nature, but there's no nudity involved.
Okay.
Now, me and one of my mates, my uni best friend, for want of a better term, we were out having a cigarette, and we'd run out of Rizzlers. So we went in, and we asked, "Does she have any?" And she went, "Yeah, I think so," in like the bedside table. So we went into a room to the bedside table, couldn't find them. Rather than going back and asking where they was, we decided to search the room.
Oh. Now this is even ruder than swiping on someone's phone.
Yes, this was really. We weren't sober. It's not excusable, but we didn't like empty everything out. But we thought maybe it's one of the other drawers. Next drawer we opened, massive, great vibrating dildo, fucking rabbit sort of thing. But yeah, I think we might have been stoned as well. And the guy I was with picked it up, and he's looking at it for a second. He's like, "Is this what I think it is?" And finds a button, pushes the button, spinning, lighting up the works.
Why does that sort of thing need to light up?
I don't know. As you can see where you're going.
Oh, jeez.
The pure childish joy on his face when he clicked what it was. He just didn't click it first. He did. It's just, oh, fucking do it. He ran out of the room, slapped the first guy he saw across the face with it, sprinted down the corridor. At the end of the corridor was like an armchair. And there was this guy in our course who was the most obnoxious, up his own arse person you'd ever met. He's very much like, oh, yes, I'm better than all of you.
Oh, so it was you?
Yeah, pretty much. But he even spoke like he was upper class, but we happened to know he wasn't. He was basically fucking council estate.
Hey, careful.
Lowest of the low. Lowest of the low.
Thanks for that.
Not all council estate are low, but you know what I mean when I say the low council estate, don't you? You know exactly what I mean.
Having lived on a council estate, no, I've no idea what you're talking about.
You know exactly. It's always that one house with a washing machine outside for no reason.
Hey, we had two.
Right, so it might be Pete's house normally.
I'm sorry, Mum. You give us a great upbringing, and I know that for a fact that you own the home.
But you know exactly what I'm getting at, don't you?
Yes, I know what you're getting at.
He was like that, but because he'd gone to uni, he was thinking he was going to better himself, which is fair enough. By all means, reinvent yourself. Just don't go to the opposite end of the spectrum. But yeah, so Laurie didn't like this guy, so he sprinted down the corridor, took the dildo, and literally speared him straight down the throat with it.
Oh! That's horrible.
It's fucking hilarious.
Sorry, I don't care how obnoxious I've been to someone. If you ever do that to me, I will cut your legs off. Yeah, and then I'll beat you with your own legs until I pass out.
The guy was pissed as well, understandably. Laurie accepts he understands him being pissed at him. It's still quite funny when you're observing it. Would you like to know the horrible icing on the cake?
No, actually, at this point I wouldn't, but I've got a feeling you're going to tell me anyway, with an undeserved sense of glee.
The girl looks up and says, "Oh, that was my boyfriend's ass last."
Oh. Oh my God. There's the horrible realisation that I had to continue talking to you for roughly 10 minutes after that.
Oh, that was a very interesting night. That's when we learned as well. This is no longer sexual, this is just useful life advice. If you're extremely drunk and struggling to stand up, get two of you and lean headfirst into each other. Make like an A, you're a lot more stable.
That's what.
I don't know. I think it's because you're in a constant state of falling, but you're holding each other up.
And the triangle is the strongest structure in nature.
Quite possibly. But we were both, again, trying to... This is after we'd found the Rizzler in the room afterwards. It was in the same drawers to deal with it, so we had to go in there anyway.
Right. Okay, so you were in the right place, but you couldn't see because of the dildo.
Yeah, we got distracted.
Yes.
We were young and men.
I can't see you reacting in any other way than you did now.
I can neither confirm nor deny. I didn't pick it up and spear someone.
No, but
I just laughed.
Right, okay. Yeah, I'm an innocent officer. I just laughed at him ramming some object down another man's throat.
It wasn't ramming it like he grabbed him and shoved it on his head. He just like jabbed him with it, but it just happened to be he was talking at the time and then, like the throat was at the right angle and it just slid down.
Oh, no, that's not how throats work, for God's sake.
Okay, he swallowed it, enjoying it then. That's the only other way it could have gone down that well.
No.
These are the two logical options. The only two options.
I'm uncomfortable with all of them. I'm uncomfortable with the story. I'm uncomfortable with the subject matter. This is not a time for me to be comfortable, James.
He was very uncomfortable.
But yeah, I bet
so
he was.
Afterwards we were trying to roll a cigarette and we kept both falling over until we fell headfirst into each other, rolled perfectly.
Whilst balanced on each other's heads.
Whilst balanced on each other. Also, this was the same night we discovered that a Kebab is the best GPS system.
Why?
Because you won't know this because you don't drink, but when you're pissed, it can be very confusing how to get home, especially if you've got to walk. I was a uni student, so it wasn't far. It was probably only like a mile. And in Exeter, it's actually probably better to walk than it is to try and get a taxi because the roads are terrible. But we got about 100 metres and it took us about an hour. We weren't making much progress because we were stumbling drunk. So we decided we were hungry, so we bought a kebab. Now, as you know it, in that pile of greasy goodness is just hope, isn't it?
Hope. Hope that the next morning will be better than the right now.
Exactly. So we were basically just walking, chatting, eating a kebab. You can focus a lot more when you've got a kebab, so you've got to balance more, haven't you?
Well, yes.
So, you don't want to drop your kebab. So you're just walking and focusing on the kebab.
This is true when you're sober as well, so I can relate to this part.
So you're just walking, no care in the world. The most important thing in your world right now is that joyous kebab in your hand, isn't it?
Yes.
And then you look up and you're home.
Because muscle memory has done the rest for you.
Because muscle memory's done the rest, and you're more focused on the kebab. You've not stumbled. You've probably walked in front of the road 3 times and got hit by a car once, but it didn't hurt that much because you didn't drop the kebab, and you made it home.
And the motion of the flip kept the kebab perfectly in place while you landed again.
Quite possibly, who knows? But you look down, you eat kebab, you look up, you're home.
Very nice.
I bet if you came to Plymouth, bought a kebab, you'd munch on it, look up, and you'd be home. You'd have walked 400 miles it is to Manchester.
I need more than one kebab to get me 400 miles. Although
Oh,
I am
like
one of
kebab
those
and
people.
chips.
Okay, there you go. I am actually for most takeaway places, the amount of chips they give you as a portion as well, it probably would last.
Yeah, you probably would.
But I'm one of those people who does plan everything I do around food. So, for instance, if we're it's like Charlotte and I we like to go to Blackpool a lot, and rather than plan specific activities, we talk about which food places we're going to hit at which time of day, and then everything else is just killing time until we're hungry again. So there's the food as the focal point, and then the rest of it is like, what do you want to do until we start?
Until pizza.
Yeah, in between the pizza and the fish and chips and the ice cream, what do we do to kill time in between those things? But I'm one of those people who is excited about breakfast when I go to bed.
My God, I've ever been excited about. No, that's not true, actually. I stayed in a really nice fancy hotel once, work paid for it. And it was like a 5-star all-you-can-eat buffet for breakfast, and I did fall asleep going, "Oh,
good heavens, yeah, that would get me going. That's
the first time I had. That was the first time I had lobster. I don't like lobster.
Breakfast.
Oh yeah, I don't like lobster. I don't like most seafood.
I don't like seafood at all, really. Except fish fingers,
fish
but I don't
cakes.
know if that even counts anymore.
See, I don't like fish fingers. They're too fishy for me. I like fish cakes because they're
Too
more potato
fishy
than
for you?
fish. They're all flake. I don't like the flakiness of them.
Oh, I don't mind that. Because when the flakes... I have a fish finger sandwich, you see. And when the flakes sort of mix in with the butter and the ketchup with the fish finger sandwich, that's delightful.
Yeah, but a fish cake is just like a hash brown with like a hint
bit
of
of fish
herb
in
and
it.
other stuff in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could just get a hash brown.
Hash
but
brown
you
with
get
fish.
judged if you get judged if you eat hash browns for dinner. But if you eat fish cakes and hash browns for dinner, it's okay.
Here's something weird, actually, now that we mentioned that. Fish cake and chips is acceptable, but if you had hash brown and chips, somebody would be looking at you like thinking, what the fuck are you eating, bro?
Exactly.
It's like, I don't think potato waffles and chips taste the same. I'd be happy to have a plate of waffles and chips and beans. But I know that it's potato and beans. I don't care. They don't taste the same to me, and I can eat what I fucking want. I'm an adult.
The reason they might be looking at us like that is because it's very extremely unhealthy and very carby.
Maybe, I suppose. But I don't care how old I get. I'm never too old to have fish fingers, spaghetti hoops, and potato smileys. I'm allowed.
Spaghetti hoops aren't as good as they used to be.
No, because they take the salt out of everything and the sugar out of everything.
It might have been. I bought some recently, ate them. I was like, it's just disappointing.
Tell you what's not disappointing though is beans and sausage. It's still great.
No, never like that as a kid either. Though.
Really? Oh, come on. Really?
Here's just a random one to end the podcast on. Actually, random topic. When you were a kid, what did you get as a treat if you were well behaved?
Not smacked.
But then if you wanted something, if you did really well at school, you could your report came in, you did really good grades and all that lot. How would you get rewarded?
Depends what we were into at the time. There was never like a set thing. If we were to be rewarded,
Up until I was about 5 or 6, Dad would take me for a haircut.
Haircut as a reward. That's an interesting one.
That's what I wanted.
Okay.
And if I'd have been, because of my parents split up when I was quite young, if I'd been well behaved and all that lot during the week and all that, and Mum wanted to reward me, she'd ask me what I want. Do I want some sweets? Do I want some chocolate? No, I wanted teddy bear meat, like the luncheon meat cut into the shape of a teddy bear.
Of course.
That's what I wanted as a treat. I could have had Haribo, I could have had chocolate, I could have had anything. I wanted teddy bear meat and a haircut.
It's a noble choice. In fact, I would very often ask for a pie as a reward for something.
You're so northern.
Yeah, in fact, there's this one time when we were.
You still do, don't you?
Well, yeah, Charlotte knows how to treat me. If I've been a good boy, she gets me a pie. But there was this one time
if
when
Charlotte comes home from work and you've done all the tidying up and the house is spotless,
she'll let me have a pie. Yeah. Now, there's this one time my nan used to pick
get
us
your
up
own
from
pie.
school.
You're a grown man. You haven't got to do the washing and you can have a pie.
When both my parents started working, my nan used to pick us up from school, and there was this one time when we were walking towards the car and I tripped and fell, and I don't know how old I was at the time. This is primary school. I was young. And I tripped and fell and hurt my hands, and my nan stood me up and brushed me down, said, "You all right now?" And I was crying because it had hurt me. And I remember saying to her, "Can I have a pie now?" Because I thought that was what would make me feel better. So I don't know. I guess I deserve a pie now. I've been through such an ordeal. I need a pie. Also, when you said you get taken for a haircut as a treat, my mum won't forgive me if I don't bring this up and tell you that a haircut would be the furthest thing from a treat for me when I was younger. I was a nightmare.
Did you hate haircuts?
Oh yes, absolutely. It got to the point where my dad had to sit on the chair and then sit me on his knee and then use his legs to wrap around my legs and hold my arms to the side, whilst my mum would stand to the side of him and do her best to hold my head still whilst somebody cut my hair, whilst I was writhing and spitting and kicking and screaming and tearing the whole house down.
See, I started liking haircuts from about 2-3-year-old, and so we'd go up. Dad was one of these guys, still is one of these guys that gets his haircut every 2 weeks, sort of thing. Anyway,
Yeah.
he likes it really organised. It's just a boring. It's nothing fancy or like that. It's just a nice plain. It was a barber's as well, sort of thing. Proper blokes barbers with the candy cane pole on the outside and all that lot. You go in there and there's some weird old 80s music playing. Everyone sat reading newspapers. You can imagine like the haze of smoke in there you used to have back in the day.
I used to get my hair cut at a barber's like that. It's one of those where you step over the threshold and you go back in time 25 years.
Exactly. And the guy that used to own it, he's passed away now, but he was the nicest bloke in the world. But we'd go in there and I said, it used to be obviously Monday to Friday I was with Mum. Friday afternoon, Dad would pick me up from school, and then I'd be with Dad for the weekend. That's how they used to do it.
Yeah.
So every 2 weeks, he'd go get his haircut, and obviously I'd go along as well. It was walking distance on the house sort of thing we used to go down to. But we'd go there, and I was like 2 or 3 at this point. And I said, I don't remember this, I've been told this since, but there were kids at like 9 or 10 screaming the place down and all that lot, and I'd just sit there, loving it. And Tony's the hairdresser, and he'd be like, look at the kids like, this is how you're supposed to behave. Sat there, happy as Larry.
Well, because I was so bad, it made me terrified of my kids starting to get the haircut because I thought like, oh shit, here we go. It's my turn to suffer for what I did when I was younger. Thankfully, they've both been pretty good with it. So, guess to get that from the mothers.
Imagine when you were getting your haircut, if you'd been pointed at a kid like a quarter your age, behaving, and how like bad you'd feel. Yes, you wouldn't care, would you?
They would never take me somewhere to get my haircut because it was so embarrassing. So a family friend who was a hairdresser used to come to our house to do it. And so the only people who would suffer through the noise were the people in the house and our next door neighbours on either side.
And the neighbours.
Yeah. Who
Do
definitely
you need to write a formal apology to them?
I don't know if they're alive anymore, James, I'll be honest. So I might be alright.
Did your parents have to give like 4 notice? Like, right, we know there's going to be lots of noise. He's having his haircut. Like, oh, okay.
I don't know about that, but I know they did when they bought me a drum kit. To speak to the neighbours and be like, really sorry, he wants a drum kit. And you know what? There was some condition that had to be met that would allow. So like, if achieve something, then you can have a drum kit. It would have been something in school. Our memory isn't great of school. I don't think about school. Didn't like it. Would never go back. But I remember there being a condition where it's like, if you pass some exam or whatever, we'll buy you a drum kit. And the day came when I achieved a result that they didn't think I would achieve, because I was a terrible student. I wasn't particularly poorly behaved at school, but I wasn't a very good student. I just didn't care. I wasn't interested. So I think they thought that it was a safe bet, saying like, there's no chance he'll pull that out of his ass. And if truth be told, I don't remember if I even tried to achieve it in order to get the drum kit. But whatever it was, I fulfilled the circumstance and I was allowed a drum kit. And accidentally called the bluff of my parents.
You then had to tell the neighbours.
Much to the dismay of anybody in a half-mile radius, I did something good at school.
Pete got a drum kit. The world is coming to an end.
I was really bad at school. I don't have any qualifications, James. Least of all.
Qualifications?
Yes. Least of all related to GCSEs, etc.
I thought you can say towards YouTube and.
I mean, no, I don't have anything. No, I don't have anything there either, do I? I'm the least qualified person you know, and I'll put money on that.
I don't know. I know some really stupid people.
Stupidity is not a factor in qualified. Stupid people can get through university. There are plenty of stupid people out there
Hello!
with a degree. Exactly. There are plenty of stupid people out there who carry degrees. I do not even carry. I don't know. I'm lucky to get the job that I've got, really.
I do know some people that have like 0 qualifications.
The only people who have less than me are people who didn't make it to the end of school.
Yeah, I know people like that.
Yeah, but I doubt that the stupidest
I got
people
an X in one of my exams once.
An X?
Yeah, it did not turn up to exam.
Oh, right. No, I didn't get that.
It turns out I'd been doing this lesson that I didn't know I was doing in A-level.
Oh, that's interesting.
And I was told everyone had to go to their, it was like in the common room, they're like, everyone's got to go to the extended project today because the exams are in 2 days and you need to do exam prep with the other lessons have been cancelled. And I stepped on, I don't do extended projects. I was like, everyone does extended projects. I was like, oh.
Oops.
She was just like, yours is with Miss whatever her name was. I went there and she was like, oh, I never had this teacher before at any other level.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, you're James' surname.
His surname's Tallulah.
Okay, James Tallulah. And they were like, yeah, I didn't know you were actually at the school. We thought you just signed up and never turned up, which is pretty much what I did, obviously. But I joined the school and didn't turn up. Yeah, you cannot pass this qualification because it's 80% coursework.
Oops.
And they were like, you can attempt to rush the coursework. It's got to be in a month. He's like, and I was like, I've got unconditional offer to uni. I don't need this qualification. I'm not rushing the coursework. She was like, oh, well, there's probably no point turning up to the exam then. So I didn't. I then got shouted at for not turning up to the exam.
Classic.
They were like, oh, we had to pay to enter you to that. I was like, oh.
I couldn't have passed anyway.
What's told me, David, there's no point turning up. She said, I said there's no point not to not turn up. And I was just like, that's the same thing.
That is the same thing. I'm sorry, I'm on your side with that one. That is the same thing. You can't tell me there's no point going somewhere and then be mad if I don't go.
It's like, you're wasting the school's money. And I'm like, I don't care.
So you know what? This is my final thing. And then we're going because it's been an hour and I'm fucking sick of you. But now that restrictions are opening up again, our work is having its first sort of staff event, and they're doing it in the form of a pub quiz. And they've paid for a quiz master to come in. They've splashed the cash, and the whole idea is that everybody puts £2 in, and the winner takes the pot. You know, which is fair enough. Now, my friend Brandon, who comes to the streams.
I know Brandon.
You know Brandon, yeah. I work with him, and the work has a Facebook group, but I don't use Facebook, so I don't really pay attention to it because I can't. And this is typically where all the events are organised because that's where people hang around, is in social media. And when this one was announced, he put a comment saying, Pete can't comment here because he's not got a Facebook, but he's really excited to go. And now he put that about a week and a half ago, and since then I have been plagued with people because I don't go to the staff events. I don't care. I'm not interested. I've been plagued with people
going. Now, though, haven't you?
No, I'm not going. Fuck off. I've been plagued with people coming up to me saying, I can't believe you're coming to this one. Oh, it's going to be great. Ah. No, go fuck yourself. Don't like you enough. And then I've had to now I'm quite reserved in my hatred of other people. I don't go out of my way to tell people I don't like them. I'll just not like them, and I'll treat them with respect.
You tell me that all the time.
Yeah, because you're always in my fucking earline.
Earline.
I don't know what I was going for, but earline came out. But now people are saying like, "Oh no, are you going to go? Oh, that's going to be great." Now I have to actively tell people I don't want to spend time with you outside of work. I don't like you enough. Because they're saying, oh, so why are you not actually going then? And then I've had a formal apology off Brandon for causing me all this displeasure.
Brandon, I'm so proud of you. I want to send you a medal.
No, to be fair, when he put it on, people started reacting and commenting to what he'd said. And he sent me a screenshot with an apology. So it was just a picture of all the likes and stuff like that. And just, sorry.
Brandon, I'm so proud of you, my friends.
Ladies and gentlemen, This has been Words From Our Mouths. I've been Pete, that's been James. James is now going to plug the socials for us.
Am I?
Yeah, you always do. Well, you don't have to, I suppose, but you're the one that likes to do it.
But we need to do it before we end the podcast. But I don't want to do it. So you have to do it.
I'm not going to do that. So you've got 5 seconds.
And you remember any of them?
No. Wait, no. Twitter is mouths.
No, you're close. It starts with an @ sign.
Oh, at mouths.
Nearly. There's one more word at the start.
Oh, at our mouths. At our mouths.
There you go.
There we go.
So what's the email?
Oh, fucking hell. I don't know. Is it words from our mouths at something or other?
wordsfromourmouths@gmail.com.
There you go. And
also you can see us on Spotify. We're on all places podcasts should be. If there's anywhere we're not, please let us know. And that's about it.
And if you're listening somewhere that we don't know where we are, then tell us.
Yeah.
So, like, if we're on a Bangladeshi radio station, reach out to us, let us know.
Ring-a-ding. No, I can't say that.
No, oh my God. Right, I'm ending this before things go wrong. You've had too much gin. I'm Pete, that's James. Thanks for listening.